I'd like to call the meeting to order under protest. You know, 6:59, okay.
It is 6:59.
All right, and roll call
President Byrne,
here.
trustees Hebda,
Here.
Schultz,
Here.
Markwart,
Here.
Cook,
Here.
Oppenheim,
Here.
Takaoka.
Here.
We have a quorum present. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, any citizens wish to address the board tonight on anything other than what's going to be on committee of the whole, and there's not that much on committee of the whole. Okay. First, is Cecil here? No. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, well,
He's
it's
vacating.
all right.
Cecil beat him.
We got his plaque though, right? Right here.
Cecil.
All right, Cecil's our bus driver. Who's our bus driver now? We got two?
We still have, Jeff is the other bus driver,
Yeah.
and then we've just posted for replacing Cecil's position.
Oh, okay.
He worked 2 days out of the week for us, Tuesday and Thursday.
Well, this is a proclamation for Cecil C. Blevins, in appreciation for his dedicated service to the village of Vernon Hills. Cecil first started driving the Vernon Hills Senior Bus in 1992 after his friend Bill Spencer, also a Vernon Hills Senior Bus driver, told him about the job. Cecil drove the senior bus for 4 years before moving to Arizona. When Cecil moved back to Mundelein in 2000, he started driving the senior bus again because Bill Spencer retired to play more golf. Who put this one together? It's pretty good. Vernon Hills seniors have always appreciated that Cecil went above and beyond to accommodate their needs on their trips to the doctor or to go shopping. Cecil has driven the Vernon Hills senior bus for 17 more years before hanging up his driving gloves and retiring December 29, 2017. Cecil stated it has been a nice long run, and although he will miss the guys at the shop, he has an 85-year-old woman at home he wants to spend more time with.
Oh, my God.
And that's it on me. I can't talk anymore. Come on. Okay. It was like a timer. Okay, see, back to Cecil. It's okay. Therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Roger L. Byrne, President and Village Board of Trustees, do hereby express our sincerest appreciation to Cecil C. Blevins for his faithful service to the senior residents and employees of the Village of Vernon Hills, and wish him and his family well this 9th day of January 2018. Okay, well, you gonna give this to Cecil?
I will give that to Cecil. Cecil's also going to stop by next week and visit with the seniors, January 17th at 1:30. So we're going to have some cake and some coffee and some more laughs with Cecil.
Here,
We'll
pass
miss him.
this down to Dave. Okay. Okay, next is Lake County Climate Action Pledge. Who's taking this one? Me? Yeah? Has everybody read through it?
Yep.
Does anybody have any concerns?
Nope.
All right. Well, I don't have it in front. Did you give me a copy in the packet? What number is it? Oh, chance, oh, from last week, or this week?
It's in the summary.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
Okay, this was a request made by the Lake County Climate Action Committee and the county and the Sierra Club to inspire and engage community leaders and elected officials representing Lake County at all levels of government to use their voices and power to deliver local and bipartisan action on the climate crisis. As the federal government abdicates its role in climate leadership, local governments, states, counties, and municipalities must lead the way. The science is clear, calling on us to take bold action to reduce our carbon footprint. By doing so, we can also improve public health, create new jobs in the clean energy economy, and make sure Lake County's communities are healthy and resilient for decades to come. Add your voice to our pledge and show that our communities are ready to lead. So the three pillars of the climate action is move Lake County beyond coal, adopt ambitious 100% clean energy goals, build climate resilient infrastructure. Join the pledge. So is everybody in on this one? Okay. Do we have to take any formal action on it?
No, sir.
No. Okay. All right, so we'll send them an acknowledgement that we,
There's something for you to sign in your
Oh, in here.
signature pile, so it's
okay.
in the pile, so
okay,
we'll sign it, and then we'll send it back to the county and the Sierra Club and
yeah.
the like, so.
Yeah, the coal thing would be a good one. That blows over on us periodically, right?
When you get a wind from the east, yes, sir.
The Waukegan Power Plant used to be coal. That was.
Yeah, that's where all the EJ and E,
Right.
freight trains go. They're all loaded with coal. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, all right, next item is Assistant Village Manager, Hawthorne Elementary School District 73 and Vernon Hills Park District request to waive permit fees for Kindergarten Center addition.
Thank you, Your Honor. As you recall, District 73 and the Park District appeared at a committee of the whole meeting on November 28th of last year to discuss the proposed expansion of the Sullivan Community Center for a kindergarten addition. The kindergarten addition is going to be approximately 34,000 square feet with an estimated construction cost of $12 million. Staff is requesting that the village board reaffirm our practice of waiving these fees for the proposed project. These fees are, again, estimated at $160,000 total. And this would be consistent with what we've done in the past with governmental bodies.
Probably the high school and all, everybody, yeah. All right, is there a motion to waive the fees?
So made.
There's a motion and a second, roll call.
Trustees Markwart.
Aye.
Cook.
Abstention.
Oppenheim.
Aye.
Takaoka.
Aye.
Hebda.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
For the record, I'd vote aye. Okay, it's in essence, motion carries. Next is Personnel Rules Amendment.
Hey, thank you. Included on the omnibus agenda this evening is Resolution 2018-2, which amends the village's personnel rules to update the anti-discrimination, harassment, and sexual harassment policy.
Vote on something.
As the board may recall, Governor Rauner signed Senate Bill 402 in November, which required all governmental units to adopt an ordinance or resolution establishing a policy that prohibits sexual harassment. The Act specifies that policies must include a prohibition on harassment, details on how an individual can report a claim of sexual harassment, a prohibition on retaliation related to any harassment claims, and consequences of violating the policy or knowingly making a false report. The deadline to comply with this act is January 15th, 2018. The village's existing policy meets the majority of the requirements under the Act. However, the policy did require a few updates to our current policy to expand definitions of what was covered under the Act and to provide specific references to protections provided by the Whistleblower Act. Proposed amendments are included in the packet in a red line format and have been reviewed by the village's corporation counsel, the insurance carrier, and their law firm. The village's insurance carrier conducted an on-site anti-harassment and discrimination training in March of this year, which was required for all employees to attend. We are also fortunate to have several online training portals that are available from our insurance carrier and our insurance broker. And this assists the village with ongoing training needs. So we're pretty confident in our ability to continue to communicate the importance of these policies going forward. And staff is recommending the approval of the updates to the existing policy to bring us into compliance with the Act.
Any comments or questions from the board?
Yeah.
Trustee Cook.
I just had one quick question about some wording.
I didn't understand the language of it where it said, let's see what paragraph we're doing. 3.02, the second paragraph mentions non-discrimination based on, and then it had arrest record status as a beneficiary. What do they mean by non-discriminatory on an arrest record? I didn't.
There's actually specific prohibitions that were passed this year that protect juveniles with arrest records, and there are rules regarding, or I guess I should say laws regarding what you can put on a job application and what type of questions you can ask. The law that was passed in 2018 regarding juveniles restricts employers from asking about expunged felony records pertaining to a juvenile record, so that's essentially what it's alluding to.
So it's basically a very specific arrest record that's no longer,
Anything that would be protected under the law.
okay, all right, thank you.
It's like if your kid goes out to a job site at a new house and breaks about 10 grand worth of windows.
Correct. Something along those lines,
Okay.
theoretically.
Yeah.
I just want to give it an example, you know?
Asking for a
But it's
friend.
specifically delineated in the statute on what's,
Correct.
okay, thank you.
And then your parents have to write a check for 10 grand. You know, works out nice. Anyway, that's, okay. One thing I want to ask on this is, do we have any third-party coverage
And
through Tom Collins and Company?
that's covered through our ICRMT
I know, but is
policy.
that only, does that pertain to hire people that come in and interview and such too?
For an
They're not
actual
emplo-
investigation or for recruitment?
Well, if they claim that somehow, you know, somebody sexually harassed the third party, are they gonna step in and take care of that?
They do have that. ICRMT is our liability insurance carrier, and they use the services of OKG out of Northbrook.
Okay.
And that's included in our premium. The retainer for that law firm would be included in the premium, so any processing of a workers' compensation claim would be included in that.
But you're saying for the interviewee, that there would be covered if it's alleged that some department had, you know, discriminated because of their religion or race or sexual preference.
Correct.
Okay, and they're not an employee, the third party.
The third party is a law firm associated with the insurance carrier.
Well, no, I'm talking
Not-
about the plaintiff, the real life person.
The actual person complaining.
Yeah, the applicant,
Oh,
the job applicant.
that is correct. That is covered, and I think that would be under our errors and omissions policy. I don't know that there's a specific, or an employment practices policy. Yeah,
You're comfortable with that statement?
I'm comfortable that we are covered under our insurance if this happens, yes.
Okay, for the applicant? Okay. All right, that's good. All right. What else? Is that, you want to approve this tonight? Oh, okay, okay. Any other comments or questions on that one? Okay. Okay, next is the omnibus vote agenda. Is there a motion to approve items A through
Aye.
I?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments or questions? Any items need to be pulled, or if not, roll call.
Trustees Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim,
Aye.
Takaoka,
Aye.
Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markort.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, unfinished business, approval of special village board meeting minutes of December 12th, 2017. Is there a motion to approve?
So made. Second.
Motion is second. Comments, questions, deletions, corrections? If none, roll call.
Trustees Oppenheim,
Aye.
Takaoka,
Aye.
Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markort,
Abstain.
Cook.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, any new business or communication to come before the board? Okay, you know, it was nice, all the, you know, holiday light displays all over town. They didn't go out this time. We didn't have the ice storm. So, no, but it was nice. I mean, I think people enjoyed it and, you know, a lot of people frolicking, you know, on sleighs and skis and stuff like that. So, okay, well, that's good. So we're 1 for 2.
Oh, for frolic.
Yeah, okay. All right, if nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn
So
the
made.
board meeting?
So made.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustees Takaoka,
Aye.
Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I'd like to call the committee of the whole meeting to order. First item is approval of special committee of the whole meeting minutes of December 12th, 2017.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? If none, roll call.
Trustees Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Staying.
Cook,
Aye.
Oppenheim,
Aye.
Takaoka.
Aye.
Motion carries. Nirvana Wine and Grillery concept presentation and consideration of a text amendment to the liquor and licensing code allowing the online sale of wine. Building Commissioner Atkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as you stated, with this request, Nirvana would offer wine for purchase on their website. The wine would be shipped directly to customers by way of UPS or FedEx. Deliveries would require a signature from the recipient and would be made only to individuals that are of the age of 21 years old or older. A summary of his business plan is attached to your packet. As the board may be aware, a couple years ago, there was an amendment to the liquor code that approved a Class L liquor license that authorized the online sale of wine. However, this classification was created to serve an office warehouse use. That was for Red Line Liquors. They're located in Rogers Office Park. A restaurant use, including Nirvana's proposal, would not comply with the conditions that are set forth for that type of license. So an amendment creating a new liquor classification and the associated fees would be required, authorizing the online sale of wine for residents. Staff is recommending that the board also consider a similar amendment for retail stores. And we've included language showing what the draft amendment would look like in your packet. The wording would basically state that if you already have a license that allows full liquor or beer and wine for consumption on premise, or a license to sell alcohol or beer and wine as a retail establishment, if you currently hold those licenses, then you would qualify to appear before the Liquor and License Commission to request this new type of license for the online sale of wine. That language, again, is included in your packet. Tonight, staff is seeking direction from the board as to this requested amendment. If the board feels that the proposed amendments are appropriate, then staff should be directed to prepare an ordinance amending the liquor and licensing code in accordance with the draft language attached to your packet and is otherwise directed by the village board, with said ordinance being subject to final review by the village's attorney. And the owner of Nirvana is here to answer any questions that you may have.
You want to say your name for the record
It's Daniel Caldwell,
and your address in town?
business or home?
Home.
503 North Milwaukee Avenue, apartment D in Libertyville, 6048.
Yeah, okay. Okay, any comments? Trustee Cook.
The difference here is that the sale will be shipped? I mean, is that what makes the difference, or is it that it's purchased online?
Well, the difference is the Type L license, the one that's currently in place for the online sale of wine, was crafted towards a specific request where the business is located in an office research and development district, so it's an office warehouse use. So there's certain conditions in that class of license, such as you can't consume wine on premise, that would make a similar use when in connection with a restaurant not possible. So
My reason for asking is, it made me wonder, where exactly does Mariano's now fit because you can purchase online from them. And they have somebody go through the store, pick out everything you've purchased, and they just put it in your car. Does that qualify as an online purchase?
Well, it's,
And so, I mean, it was just because more and more places are going to that to where you can order everything in the store online and somebody will pick it for you and they just put it in your car for you. And I wondered if that,
my understanding of that type of use is that the point of sale for Mariano's is at that location. They're ordering ahead of time, but the point of sale is where they go, they
Okay.
pick it up. The business has the opportunity to card someone, make sure they're 21 years of age and such. The difference with the online purchase is just what you were getting at. It's delivered to
it's
the customer.
delivered. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that was what the big deal was. All right, thank you.
Trustee Oppenheim.
Two questions. First of all, I'm a little curious about point number 5 here in the proposed amendment. Not more than one Class O license shall be issued at any one time, meaning we're only allowing one?
Well, that's
Establishment?
subject to further amendment by the village board. Typically, for each class of license, the maximum number of licenses that we allow are the number that we have in place at that particular time. If someone were to come before the Liquor Commission and request an additional license, there would be a concurrent amendment to the liquor code allowing one additional license. It just gives us an extra level of control.
Okay. And secondly, are there any tax implications for this? Are these sales out of state, and who's collecting taxes?
The sales would only be within the state of Illinois.
Okay.
What's the limitation on how many cases they could sell? Isn't there some issue at the state level?
I'm not aware of, I'm not aware of what the maximum amount is, but what we could do is we could make sure we know what that maximum amount is and make sure our ordinance matches that of the state.
Patrick, is there any limitation on that?
I'm not sure what that
Yeah,
number
because
is.
I thought they went nuts.
Right.
The liquor distributor.
And maybe the gentleman's talked to the State Liquor Commission, but I know that, whatever we do locally, he's also going to have to get blessed by the State Liquor Commission, and they do have significant regulation as it relates to.
You done your homework on that one?
I'm already licensed per the state of Illinois to ship within the state of Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, and
you know
that's what,
how many case, is there a case limitation?
I don't
or-
think so. They didn't mention it. I've talked to them several times over the last year. I've been kind of working on this for, I would say, a year and a half minimally, and they never brought it up.
So just as long as you send them the sales tax.
I would double
Very
check.
true, my friend.
Just to be on the safe side, if I were you, I would double
I
check
will.
that
That
because
never even came up.
the liquor
Um,
distributors in this state are pretty tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
thought there was something crazy that they were like, frowning upon this type of thing,
Yeah,
Okay.
they told me several times the license that I already have to do business as a retailer and a restaurant suffices being able to ship
Well,
within the state.
is this gonna go to the state because this is a different type of license?
Well, he
I
does.
mean, the state's gonna review this,
Yeah, yes, he requires a state license, and if I
but he
understood,
said he's got it.
he's
I
got it
have
already.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't have to look at anything we're doing here tonight.
No, the process is actually in reverse. We won't give him our license unless we know he has a state license.
You already turned that in?
Yeah, I have to have a state license. I
No,
have
no, I
it every
mean,
year.
did you already turn it in to do this type of sale?
Provide a copy to.
Of my state license?
Yeah,
You guys should have it. I need a state license every year to get my village license.
okay, so you got, yeah, well, we issue one to you and you say, all right, but is it the license that pertains to this discussion to sell liquor online?
Through the state?
Yeah.
It's the same license.
Somebody
Okay.
want to speak to that one?
Yeah,
So to the state, to my understanding, and I've talked to them several times over, and if I need anything in writing, it's no problem. The license that I already have to do business as a restaurant and a wine shop that allows me already to ship.
You got a license as a wine shop from us,
Correct.
No,
It's a,
it's from the state.
well, it's in,
from the state.
no, from you as well.
from us, he has,
I have a license as, On and off premise.
Yeah, he has two licenses from
Okay,
us.
so which class is the one we got for the wine shop? What is that, Z?
For the wine shop, he has Class A and Class D. A is for
Okay.
full service alcohol on premise. D is to take packaged wine off premise.
All right, trustee Schultz.
I hope you do well at this. I mean, I've bought from a number of wineries across the country, California, Texas, and it seems to work out well. Everybody uses FedEx. I don't know if UPS offers the same level of scrutiny, because, yeah, FedEx, I got to plan my whole day around them to be home to sign for a case or whatever. But it's the way of the future, so God bless, move forward.
Like it.
Now, you know wine, right?
I try to, yeah.
So are the grapes going to have a smoky taste after all the fires out in California?
I don't even think we know yet, my friend.
That's, yeah, 2-3 years down.
Oh, man. Gonna be drinking a lot of wine from Washington very soon.
Oregon.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve, or if there's no other questions?
Motion to approve?
A motion directing staff to prepare an ordinance in accordance with the draft text language attached to your packet.
Right. Okay, first and second agrees?
Yes.
Okay,
Second?
the second?
Second, I'll go ahead and second.
okay. Roll call.
Trustees Schultz,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye?
Oppenheim,
Aye.
Takaoka,
Aye.
Hebda.
Aye.
Motion carries. What time do you stay open till?
Typically during the week, about 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30, and an extra hour on the weekends.
Oh, okay. Do you have music ever?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Really?
Yeah, it's nice.
You're doing really well, too. People really like your place. so
Great,
You're
thank
doing
you.
well.
We're trying.
Okay. Well, all right, nice to see you.
Hey, thank you guys
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you
take
so
care.
much.
All right, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Good. Update, SB 1451 Small Wireless Facility Deployment Act. Is things gotten better with this, or?
Hope not.
No, I wouldn't
No.
say that.
Well, what are you updating us for?
Well, it's because it's been kind of languishing. We just want to let we just wanted to let the board know where it's at right now and what our plan is moving forward. Right now, the bill, which would allow small wireless facilities to be placed in the right-of-way as a permitted use, and it could be done two different ways. It could be done on an existing light pole or utility pole, or it could be on its own new pole within the village's right-of-way. Again, the legislation would consider that a permitted use. So they've been, discussing this over almost all of 2017. The act was sponsored by Senator Link, and it was originally introduced in February of last year. It has passed the House, and it's passed the Senate, and currently it is on a legislative hold based on a motion to reconsider that was filed by Senator Cullerton. What I just wanted to do for you tonight was to review the allowances that are in the bill. There's certain allowances that were placed in there that gives our village the opportunity to have a certain level of control, not the amount that we want, but a certain level of control. And, but in order for us to have those controls based on the allowances in the act, we would have to pass an ordinance giving us that authority. Some of the highlights, or key points, I guess is what I should call them, is, regarding fees, they actually have what seems to be a reasonable permit fee. It would be $1,000 for new poles, $650 for co-locating on an existing pole, like a utility pole. They've increased the amount of time we have to approve or deny requests from 90 to 120 days. There'd be a minimum 5-year term limit. And for equipment placed on the pole, this is actually a pretty good one. They're limited, the combined size of the equipment located on the pole could not exceed 25 cubic feet. So previously, there was no limitation on that. So that's one small item that I think will
What's
work
the
out.
weight involved with this 25 cubic feet?
Oh, the weight, I can get to that a little, I don't know what the weight is, but one of the,
I mean, what can the pole handle?
well, exactly, one of the things that was added into the act was that we can now ask for a structural analysis, and we can get specifications of the equipment, so we can verify, that the pole can support the additional imposed load on it. There's another provision that if a provider was proposing a new utility pole, and if we had an existing light pole, or if there was an existing ComEd pole within 100 feet of that proposed location, we could require that they co-locate on that rather than put a new pole up. We can control height. You could be 10 feet above the height of an existing pole, or for new poles, you could be 45 feet tall above grade, or you could equal the height of the tallest utility pole that's within 200 feet of
They
it.
could put it on a telephone pole,
Yes.
but not the smart switch one.
Pardon me?
Isn't there a new pole, smart switch type pole with,
I don't think it would work on that type of pole.
What I'm just asking.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
Since we had the tour that one time, I don't know who I went with the guy from Commonwealth Edison. That was the stop power outages, and you can't miss the thing because
Yeah, I don't,
there's a lot of electrical type devices on it,
Yeah, I don't think it would fit. Frankly, I don't think it would fit on that type of pole. The act really doesn't distinguish between the two, but certainly when you read through the act, it contemplates a typical utility pole like what we see,
Yeah.
up and down Route 45 and such.
But does anybody know how many, these are, okay, yeah, how many potential installations would there be for these things?
It's hard, with the evolution of technology, it would seem that it would be really difficult to understand the limit, because at least in our area, the primary purpose of these antennas is to communicate with large cell sites like what we have here at the Village Hall. When the large cell sites get to their capacity for what they can provide data-wise, they can communicate with these small cell sites for more data capacity. So as technology evolves, the need for data capacity evolves. What number would we have moving into the future? It's really hard to determine, but they're coming, and it's easy to estimate that it wouldn't be a small number. I think they're going to become part of our landscape, similar to AT&T boxes when they started showing up on our right-of-ways, and other types of utilities. So
What's the distance between light poles? Is it 120 or 180 feet on most of our streets?
180 on average.
On the average, yeah, okay. Okay. Well, something tells you, what do we got, 4,000 or 5,000 poles in town?
I don't have an exact number, but yeah.
It's a lot, yeah,
Over 4,000, probably closer to 5,000.
yeah. All right, well.
we have areas, I mean, obviously, as the board's aware, we have a number of subdivisions with no utility poles. So in those areas, we're going to see requests for new poles because there is no utility pole to put them on. So what we've been doing is we're already working on the draft. We're already going through the Deployment Act. We're working on the draft ordinance. And the plan is to get together the draft language, get it before the Planning and Zoning Commission for a public hearing, and then wait for the state, so that once they do finally act and the governor signs this bill, we're in a position where we can get it to the board for final review and approval quickly before any proposals come in. Also, what we're including in the ordinance are allowances to place these small cell sites on publicly owned property. That could be village-owned property, the Park District-owned property. It could be a forest preserve, those type of open spaces where it's easier to hide these small cell sites. And then thirdly, provisions to install these on private property. Hawthorne parking lot light poles, all our retail areas actually, great opportunity to put small cell sites there. Corporate Woods, Continental
And the
Executive
owner of
Park.
property can't generate any revenue.
They can, we wouldn't get in their way, but we would regulate through zoning how they could place them.
Okay.
And with the thought that hopefully that means that's that many fewer small cell sites in residential areas.
Trustee Cook.
Are we still going to be able to regulate, because the one thing that concerned me in looking at it was the ground-mounted versus the one higher up the pole, because the ground-mounted one was it was.
Box, yeah.
With the current language, the Deployment Act is requiring that it be attached to the pole.
Okay, so the one we didn't like, the one on the ground would be, we'd be able to tell them, no, you gotta,
Exactly.
okay, thank you.
But, okay, not knowing what the weight of this object is there more of a potential, I guess, toppling in a windstorm? Because there's gonna be more mass up there.
Yeah, it would. I mean, we would have a structural engineer give us a structural analysis of not only where the pole sits now structurally, but to determine whether or not it could support the additional load, not only a downforce load, but a load under wind conditions as well.
Plus also there was something in there about 10 feet or something. It was no less than, but not really greater than 10 feet. So
Yeah, okay.
it reduces the effect of the slenderness ratio.
All right, so there's no action to be.
No action. We just wanted to let the board, just a quick update on what's going on with the act, let you know what we're doing at staff level to try to stay ahead of it, and just to let you know it will be coming soon.
Coming.
Okay. All right, any other comments or questions on this? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? We're not going into closed session to discuss litigation personnel or land acquisition. So is there a motion
So
to
made.
adjourn?
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustees Marport,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye?
Oppenheim,
Aye.
Takaoka,
Aye.
Hebda,
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It was sing-songy, wasn't it?